Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel and welcome back to another video. So if you're new around here, hey y'all, how y'all doing? My name's Shakima. I'm a single mom with 4 kids. I've got 2 girls, 2 boys, 1 fur dog and 1 fur grand dog. We're living our very best life. If you hear any noise behind me, the fur dog decided she wanted to hang out with mom this morning. So hopefully she will cooperate with this video. If not, we'll take a pause for the cause, give her to the kids, and we'll come back and jump back in. So I'm so glad that you all decided to come by my channel. Thank you so much if you've been a long-time subscriber. Thank you so much if you decided to just subscribe now. If you haven't and you're undecided, give that red button a tap, tap, tap. I think you'll enjoy us around here. We have a pretty good time. And it's almost Christmas. We're about to blow this thing up because we love Christmas around here. But anywho, I put a poll on my YouTube community a couple days ago asking what type of chit chat would everybody like. And I listed all the things that I do on my channel. The one that got voted the most was budgeting. And I got some budgeting questions. So I have my computer sitting here. And if I'm looking over there, that I'm looking at the questions. And I wanted to share with you guys just a little bit about, how I budget or my thought process for budgeting. So if you're totally new or recently new and you haven't seen many of our budget videos, I am a single mom again with 4 kids. My kids and I incurred a lot of debt about 10 years ago. Well, we had it from before then. But about 10 years ago, I went through a separation and divorce. I took on all the consumer debt and we began a journey to become debt-free. We do use the Dave Ramsey zero-based budgeting system. We've used that system consistently for the last 9 years. In May of 2019, my children and I became consumer debt-free, with the exception of our home. Other than that, we do not have any consumer debt. We are now working on baby step number 3, which is to save between 3 and 6 months worth of expenses. We are slowly working on that journey, but we're working on it. So I'm just very thankful that the Lord has seen fit to help us move along in that journey. We've been diligent. There have been some months when we haven't been as diligent. There's some months when we're a little more tight than other months, but we're still on the journey. So I wanted to share with you all because there is nothing, this is just Shakima's personal opinion. There is nothing like being able to always answer your phone because you're not scared who on the other side, robocalls excluded, but it's not a bill collector. And so you're not afraid to answer your phone. There's nothing like going to your mailbox, seeing if you really have mail and not just bills. There's nothing like being able to go into a store and buy what you want because you have the money to do it. There's nothing like, Christmas is coming and I was doing my budget for December and we actually have a little bit of wiggle room in there so that I can up my Christmas budget and not feel like I'm, so tight on things I can't get my kids what I want them to have. And all of that came from becoming consumer debt free. So if you have not embarked on the journey of consumer debt freedom, that is the first thing I would tell you. I can answer all the questions you have about budgets, but if you don't have one, it's not going to make sense to you. So the very first thing I would say to anyone who is considering budgeting or trying to become debt free, get a budget. Write it down, put it on Excel, do it in Google Sheets, whatever your method is for trying to figure out budgets, do it. If you're looking for a quick and easy, simple budget sheet, I have one down in the description box below. You should be able to click on it. It is an automatic download if you have Microsoft Excel, but it can also be used in Google Sheets. So you do have to have a Gmail account to use Google Sheets, but you can use that with no problem. My daughter uses it online. I use it on my computer, and it works out perfect for both of us. Alrighty, now that I have the essentials in hand, we are going to jump into these questions. So I'm going to click on my community tab and see what my questions are. One of the questions says, tell us the challenges of budgeting once a month. How do you make it stretch? And what do you do if you get in a jam. So I am a once a month employee. I'm a state employee. I work for a public school system. Whoop, whoop. Always wanted to be a teacher my whole entire life. I'm in my 23rd year of teaching, and I absolutely 100% love my job. I just transitioned out of the classroom. Now I'm in a supportive role. I'm a career development coordinator in a middle school. Well, I actually have 3 middle schools and 4 elementary schools. So I travel from school to school. But again, I'm just a once a month paid employee. When I very first started it, it was a challenge because, you know, your bills come every week or every 2 weeks or however they come. But what I am able to do is when my paycheck comes the last working day of the month, that money goes towards my bills coming up for the next month. So I'm using November's paycheck, which I receive in November, to pay December's bills. So how it works is I just go ahead and write out everything that I know I have to pay. The last thing I budget for on my budget sheet is groceries because I can coupon. So because of coupons, I can supplement in my grocery budget by using coupons to get money off my groceries, which is why my budget is always usually less in the grocery department. And people are like, well, Shakima, you can't live off that much. Maybe not, but I know that I know how to feed my kids. I am the #1 budgeting queen around this place. These kids are going to eat, and they're going to eat well, but I'm not going to sacrifice my bills for the sake of the budget. So what I do is I sit down prior to the month. I collect all my bills because the bills come in before they're due. Like my utility bill probably comes in a month before it's due. It's due by the 11th of the next month, and it probably comes on the 18th of the previous month. So I already know what my bills are going to be. Then I just go ahead and sit down and write everything out. And then the one trick that I do to make sure that I pay all of my bills on time is the moment my account hits, that money hits my account, I pay my church tithe first, because if the first lump is holy, the whole loaf is holy. Then the first day bills are due, I just pay bills. When I get my paycheck, I pay every single thing. I don't wait for due dates to come due to pay it then, because especially if you're trying to juggle monies or you're tight, I'm going to feel the pressure of holding on to the money, and I got to have the money. And then if the money is in my account, I might feel like, well, I can go to the store and maybe I'll use my debit card this time. And then you overswipe and you overspend, and then you're trying to find, okay, where am I going to pay that? You know, how that was my bill, but I spent the money, and where, you know, now you have a problem. So the very first day I get paid, I pay all of my bills. The only exception to that is if it's a Sunday. And I don't know why that is with me, but I like to make sure that I'm doing business on, you know, business days of the week. In case something doesn't go right with the website or whatever, then I can call, because I pay all of my bills online. I just like to do it that way. I know it comes right out of my account. I'm not worried about it. Whether I have, you know, paid it or didn't pay it, I write down all my confirmation numbers, and then the bills are paid. Then I'm looking at, well, what do you have left? So it said, what do you do if you get in a jam? Well, Dave Ramsey says to have a $1,000 emergency fund. Now that is for emergencies. Jams might be emergencies. Like I had a $700 car bill in October. I didn't have $700 extra just laying around my checking account, but I had it in my emergency fund. So a couple times a year, if I'm fortunate enough, I will put a little bit extra into my emergency fund so that I have a little more than $1,000. And then that way, if I am running into a tight, I can always go to that fund. But I always make sure that I fill that fund back up, because I don't want to be running short on my funds. I want to make sure another thing that I have found so helpful as a single parent is making sure that my kids never want for anything, and that they see mom living in financial peace and financial freedom, so that they're able to reproduce what I feel in my lifetime. So I want to make sure that I put enough aside that I don't have anxiety, I don't have anxious feelings. I'm not worried. I used to worry, even when I was married and we had 2 incomes, we did not budget. We didn't budget. So I was worried about, am I going to have enough money? Whereas, are we going to pay bills this month? Are we going to we ran behind all the time. And that's not to say anything about who I was married to, but it just didn't work. We never sat down and talked about our budget. We never put anything in writing. Some people say, well, it's his money versus my money. Budget your money. And then that's how you know where your things are going. So if I'm fortunate enough, I put a little bit aside extra into my emergency fund. I try to keep $2,000 in there if I'm able to. A lot of times I have to wait till tax time comes around. And if I get federal refund, because I never get a state refund, I always have to pay state taxes. If I get a federal refund, I try to chunk that money into that savings so that if something does come up, then I have it there. If I get bonus at work, which I no longer qualify now that I'm in a different position, but before when I was working, I would get bonuses at work and I would try to chunk that extra money into my emergency fund on top of it. So the other thing that I do is, especially for my groceries, I portion out my groceries. I don't want to go to one shop a month because I'm not getting my best deals that way. So I take out my cash and I divide it into 4 weeks or 5 weeks, however many weeks we have. And I use cash envelopes for those types of expenses. Even if I'm doing blow money, I portion out my blow money per week so that at least every week I have a little something in my wallet. Nobody ever wants to walk around without any money. So I always try to keep a little change in my wallet. So again, if I have $20 for the month, then I break that down into $5 per week. And I feel like I have money. I don't have anything I have need of. Everything I need is in this home. So I'm good on that front. I don't find it challenging now that I have been on this system for a long time. So it might be a challenge in the beginning, specifically to get the budget started. So even if you haven't started the budget, I know I was talking with someone and say, oh, well, I'm going to start next month. It's always going to be next month. Start wherever you are. Just start. Even if you're just writing it down, even if you don't hold to it is 100%. I don't hold to my budget 100% because sometimes things do come up. But I have it written down. I know what all my bills are. I pay all the bills. This month I had some money I had some money allocated for Gracie's food. And for some reason, I never did go to the bank to get the food, but then I had some extra expenses. So we didn't even get her any food. But fortunately for us, she doesn't eat that much. So she had food from last month that lasted her. The bag I bought lasted her. She's organic and we keep it in a sealed thing. So she was excellent. But the reason I ran into that trouble is because I didn't pull out my cash and I was swiping. So I always have to pull out the cash, no swiping. I hope that answered that question. My job description, this is not about budgets, but I'm a middle school career development coordinator. What I am hired specifically to do with my students is to help my 8th graders plan out their 4-year high school career. So I help them with courses, how many credits they need to have for graduation, what career path they want to take. We do interest inventories. We do career cluster surveys. We do a lot to help them figure out things they're interested in and not interested in so they can take the classes that they like and the classes that are in line with their career path without going to the high school and like wasting classes because, oh, I didn't know I needed Spanish because I was going to a 4-year university. So I sit down with them. I help them work it out all year long. We meet. I meet with my students once a month. I meet with my 8th graders once a month, my 7th graders once a month, and I have a lot of schools. So that's about all I can fit in. I'm at 3 middle schools and 4 elementary schools. So we meet with all the 5th graders. And then I also meet with all the 6th graders as I can fit them in around my classes. So I have each of my 8th grade teachers. I have 5 8th grade teachers, and they have 4 classes each. Well, one teacher has 3. So I have 19 8th grade classes, and I have 19 7th grade classes, And then I have to fit in 6th and 5th grade to do just career exploration with them. So from 5th, 6th, and 7th is career explore. 8th grade is high school career plan. So that's what I do. One of the questions, I guess this is kind of like a thrown in question. Does your ex-husband watch your YouTube videos? I'm not real sure if he watches them or not. I hope he doesn't, because I just like to keep my life a little separate. But he might. I mean, we're Facebook friends. I share my videos on Facebook. I'm sure that he has seen videos. I'm just not aware of if he watches them or not. He hasn't said anything to me. I do try to be respectful of his identity and sharing things about him on my YouTube channel, because that is not the point of the channel. The point of the channel is one mom with all the kids. You know, this is the life that we live. He didn't ask to be YouTube famous, so I just try to be mindful. I do share about whether I get my kids' deposits or not, because that is a part of the budget. It didn't always used to be a part of my budget. Because it was inconsistent a lot of years. I never wanted to include it into my budget. And I don't include it into the base budget now. I add it if it comes in. If it doesn't come in, I don't worry about it so much. But I try to be mindful of him and his feelings. I'm sharing my journey. I'm sure if he had a voice, he would share his journey, which might look different than what I perceive it to be. So I do try to be mindful of that. But if he sees them, you know, I'm out here in these YouTube streets. This is the life we're living in 2019. So, I mean, I think if he did see them and he thought I was sharing something that was incorrect, I know he would say something to me about it. But again, he has not said anything, and we've been on YouTube now for about 4 years consistently. So I don't know. I don't know. You know, I don't usually sing for people. I sing for Jesus, and I love him so much that I don't think about it when I'm worshiping the Lord. But singing for people I don't really do that. I'm around the house, you know, singing a little something or whatever. Right now I'm in the middle of season change, so my voice is in and out. I taught for the last 6 days straight consecutively from last Friday to this Friday, and my voice is like in and out. So we'll see. Maybe I'll do something, maybe not. But let me go to my Facebook page now and see if I can find some questions over there. One of the questions is budgeting for irregular income. And I thought about this, and that's hard for me because I do have irregular income some months, but I always know my base income is the same. Sometimes we get our supplements in, so that's a little bit different. But here's what I suggest. I would say go back about 3 months if you can, and come up with about an average. What is the average income that you bring into your home over the last 3 months? And then you might want to subtract $500 or $200, because you know it won't be like that every time. And budget for the lowest possible amount that you think might come in. That way, if anything extra comes in, then that's just bank on top of what you already thought would come in. So that would be my suggestion for people with irregular income, to really just average out the last 3 months and maybe subtract a couple hundred because you're not sure. And then that's the basis amount that you would ever budget for. Make your budgeted column. And then when your monies actually start to come in, then put in the actuals and do it consistently. That way you'll have a track over the last couple months. Or even if you can't budget for the income, look at all of your bills. You know you have to have that much money to cover bills and groceries and all the things that might possibly come up with a household. So that would be my suggestion. Commissions jobs are hard. I know people working for production, and if you don't make production, you don't get paid. So then that's where those side hustles may come in. That's where selling on eBay will come in. That's selling on Facebook Marketplace. I mean, Etsy, people are doing the doggone thing. You're making monies however you can make it for your family. Just like when I go out and do speaking engagements and people give me love offerings, I do not charge an honorarium to go anywhere to speak. But if someone wants to give me a love offering, that's a blessing to our family. I don't count that in my income, but that might be some irregular income that would come in that I can just chunk on top of whatever I know my base money is. So that's a suggestion. Let me know if that is helpful, or if you try it, even if you just do it over the last 2 months. But I say about 90 days is a good average, and don't use your highest average months. You know, some months with irregular income are more. Some people are now, we're in the Christmas season. So of course there's going to be more hours in January. Most people are going to see their stuff, you know, go down. So pick the months that you feel like were the most normal and average that way. I hope that was helpful. Let's see. I would say the question is, how do I feel like I did with my budget this year versus other years, or doing the month-to-month budget? I've got to find a sheet. Cass from Clutterbug has a download. And in that download, there's a financial one, and you can put in for each month of the year. And also, my Instagram friend, I forget the name of her Etsy shop. It's Curly, I'm gonna think of it. But she also has it on her budget sheet where you can total up for the year. That's the one thing I didn't do this year, just to kind of see how we were, you know, moving along. I do need to do that. But I will tell you this, for 2019 has been my best year. 2019 was the year we got out of debt. So getting out of debt is always going to be a boost to your income, because it's like getting a raise. It's like, oh my goodness, now I can funnel those funds to another area of my life. And what I've been able to do in 2019 is I've been able to give more. I've been able to do more charitable contributions, be more giving in certain areas. And it has just really blessed our lives. So I don't have the specific numbers, but I can tell you, using the budget sheet that I use now is the best sheet I've ever used. And we are in a better financial place than we have ever been. And I don't say this braggadociously. Someone said this to me one time. They said, Shakima, you're better with your money than I've seen some couples, husbands and wives, be with their money. And I'm not saying that because Shakima is anything, but when you're in my position and you're desperate to get out of the hole that you have dug for yourself, then you get gazelle intense and you begin to fork your way out, dig your way out, if you got to use a spoon, it doesn't even matter how you try to get yourself out of that hole that you have dug for yourself. And when you start realizing that you're coming out of it, it gets that intensity going more. And it's like, what else can I do? What can I sell? What hustle can I do? How much, what kind of, can I do VIP kids? That's online school. What can I do to get more income coming into this house? So has been my experience. This year has been my best year so far. And I have nothing but great expectations of 2020, that the Lord is going to help me be able to fund that 3 to 6 months emergency fund. I want to be able to say that I am the closest I've ever been on at least getting that 3 months emergency. I want to do it, y'all. I want to get that money so that not that I can have it just to have, but I want to be able to say, wow, look what God has helped me do. And I want to be able to put more into my Roth IRA. I can put up to, I think it's a maximum of $6,000 into that Roth every year. It's between 3 and 6. I think 6 is the max I can put in each year, but I can put in some money. I can't touch it for the next 16 years, so it will grow and create interest for us to be able to live on. But I was looking at it the other day, and it is growing, y'all. I haven't even had it 6 months, I don't think, and it's growing. So I'm thankful for that, and I want to be able to chunk money in there and put, take a little bit and put some here and put some there. So I'm excited about 2020, but I've also done very well in 2019. One other question that I had was how to stay focused when your income is on a 2-week surprise amount. Again, going back to take your 3 months, and average those 3 months and then back it down about $500. And that's a base amount that has to come in to be able to take care of your bills. It's going to be a challenge to budget irregular income. But my thing, and I always tell people, I don't care how often you get paid, put it on paper. Put it on that budget sheet, write it in. That way you know where all your money is going, no matter how much of it you have or don't have. So that's my suggestion and tip for anybody is get it down on paper. Even to the point I printed out my budget. I do it on my computer, then I print it out and I make notes. I write comments on my budget when I use it in Excel, but I also make notes on my budget sheet so that when I want to go back and see where I spent money or where I might have gone over or budgeted under somewhere, I'm looking at my utility bill. It's $14 less than it was last month for the next month coming up. Well, praise the Lord. Where can I put that 14? Well, you didn't have enough in your grocery budget, so dump it in there. I'm always trying to work the numbers. I'm crunching those numbers all of the time. I don't care if I have to write it out on a napkin until I can get home to put it in my sheet. I am working those numbers every single day of my life because it's important that I stay on top of the numbers. I don't want to go back to where I was. Does that mean I'll never have debt again? Absolutely not. But I don't want to have it. I don't want to unnecessarily cause pressure and stress in my life. When I tell you I have let my hair down, what little bit of hair I have, hunty, I don't have stress. I don't have pressure. If I want to go somewhere, I'm going. If I want to eat out, I'm eating out. If I want to buy something for my kids, I'm buying something for my kids. That's it. That is it. The end. 100% the end. That's what I'm doing. That's the life that I'm living. And I'm going to live my best life. Because you put in the work on the front half. We've been doing this for 9 years, not 9 days. So don't look at me and go, Shakima, why are you being braggy? It's been 9 hard years. And it really didn't hit me with that gazelle intensity until about the last 2 years. And it was like, you got to get out of this, sister. And the only person that's going to get you out is the person who got you in. That's you. Now, again, I incurred debt from my divorce. I picked up what was left from the divorce. I didn't shirk my responsibility. My name was on it and I took it. And I said, I'm going to pay off this and be done. Be done with it and live my best life. I took out a 401k loan before. I've paid that back with using, my monies. So there's just a lot of things that I have had to claw my way out of. And it's just been the best thing for my family. I will tell you this, if you can get your finances under control, any financial stress and pressure that you feel in your family will be gone. It will be out the end. Even if my dream, if the Lord were to bless me with a marriage, is and my husband wants me to stay home. This is only if my husband would like for me to stay home. Honey, okay, work that out. But I would ask him, I would say, would you allow me to work just long enough to get all of our bills paid? Because I don't know what someone else is coming in with their stuff. And if I'm joining my life to you, I join to everything you have. Will you allow me to work so that I can pay for this for us, or let me finish paying off the house? Let me work so that I can be an asset to this equation. and to get us paid off. If you're out of debt, maybe one of you, your paycheck is going to savings or family vacation or a big box purchase, something that your family wants, and somebody's still taking care of the bills. However you do it, there's strategies to be able to live the best life that you want to live and be able to do it even on a small budget. I think my base salary is about $50,000. I might bring home $35,000, $36,000 a year. And I tithe on top of that. So we're living on about $27,000, $28,000, and we're able to do it. But it's priorities. What's important? What needs to be done? What can you live with? What can I live with? What can I go back and say, hey, I did the best I could with what I had. This is what I did, and this is what I lived. Those are the questions that I have to answer for myself about my family and my budget. So those were the questions that I got. I hope something that I shared was helpful for you. Get the numbers on paper. If you don't hear anything else I've said, get it on paper. It's hard in the beginning. It might be hard to stick to. It challenges you. Get an accountability partner. If you are married, that should be that person. But if your spouse does not want to budget with you, budget your amounts, get you somebody that you can talk back and forward to you. That's not going to let you randomly spend, but they're going to say, you don't need that. I know my sister will tell me all the time, why are you buying that? Do you need that? Is that something you need? And the more I was accountable to her, the more I'm able now to say to myself, do you really need that? Is that something you have to have? Or do you have the money for it? And if the answer is no, then maybe we get it next time. If you have to have it, okay, but where are you going to pull that money from? How are you going to make up for the deficit? Where you going? So I'm questioning, right? Budgets just help me to question my motives behind my purchases. And so I think that's what the basis of the Dave Ramsey program is. I'm seriously considering going to his, to become a Dave Ramsey certified person to teach classes. Right now, I'm just teaching you what I've learned and what I've been able to deduce for myself. But I'm considering becoming a licensed Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University person. I haven't looked into it, all of the ins and outs just yet, but we'll see how that works out. But I want you to experience the same amount of freedom that I'm experiencing now with my children. It's taken us a long time, but I'm telling you, Shakima's living her best life. 2019 has brought me so much. I am living the best life I've ever lived, and my life has been good. But I am living at the top. I'm not at maximum, but I'm living. I am working my way up to maximum, and I have peace in my heart, I have peace in my home, I have peace in my finances, and we are doing the doggone thing, and you can too. So I hope that encourages someone out here. I'm so excited to be along this journey with you. Thank you for watching The Kids and I. Thank you for struggling along with us. Thank you for the encouragement. Thank you for the atta girls and the pats on the back. Thank you for saying, Shakima, buy what you need for your kids when I struggle with my grocery budget. Thank you for encouraging us. Thank you if you have ever sown anything into our lives, whether it be an encouraging word, a card, a letter, finance, whatever. If you've sown into us, we appreciate you. We can't tell you what to give. We don't require anything. But if you have shared your bounty with us, we thank you. And now that the Lord has blessed us, we are able to share our bounty with others. So we do love you. We do pray that the Lord would bless you and keep you, make his face shine upon you as you walk out with him. So we'll see you guys next time. Bye now.